So as you follow along to this routine, all our sticks that we use are color coded. And if you buy yours off of Amazon or Temu or wherever you buy your tools, if you bought the same ones, they obviously don't come color coded. So I'm just gonna show you and explain which are which, just so that you know. So we don't use these first two because they're too big to use for anything, so you can just set those aside, because in most of my videos, we don't use them. And so you're left with these. So in this order, you can look, and it basically goes in this order from biggest to smallest: green, blue, white, yellow, pink, and black, down to the smallest one. So this is the color palette I'm going to be using for today's class. For paint color number 1, I'm using DecoArt Americana Primary Red. For number 2, I'm using Craftsmart Orange. For number 3, I'm using Craftsmart Dark Yellow. For number 4, I'm using Craftsmart Citrus Green. And for number 5, Craftsmart Grass Green. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it. First step, we're gonna take the big blue stick with paint color 3. And you're just gonna make clusters of 3 dots like this. So random clusters of 3. And just random spots around the heart. You can probably fit up to maybe like 4 or 5 clusters.
Should they all be the same size dots?
Yes, you want to re-dip each time into the paint so that your dots stay the same size. And you want to dip your tool into the paint about this much, so you get a good amount of paint on there.
I'm hesitant. We're all stingy with it.
Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink stick.
Oh yeah, that's a good little one.
So pink stick with paint color 3 again, and we're just gonna make smaller clusters in between.
Pretty with the clusters.
Okay, next step, we're gonna take the blue twirly the bigger end with paint color 3 again, and now we're just gonna add even smaller clusters.
The same color. Oh, same color.
I use the bigger edge.
Okay, next step, we're gonna take the little black stick with paint color 4. And we're gonna go around and make green clusters for leaves.
I know, that's what I'm thinking right now.
Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly, bigger end. And we're gonna use the same color and just put smaller clusters. Larger end. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly, smaller end, with the same color, and we're gonna add even tinier ones.
And you said smaller end, is that correct?
Yes. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink twirly smaller end with paint color 3, and we're gonna add small flower clusters in between.
Oh, little yellow.
Paint color 3.
Okay, baby.
Okay, so next step, we're gonna take the white stick with paint color 2, and we're gonna overlap the very big yellow clusters, and we're gonna overlap them all basically facing each other, kind of like this. Does that make sense? Okay, next step, we're gonna take the black stick with the same color, and we're gonna do the same thing for the next size down clusters. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly smaller end,
White twirly, smaller end.
Okay.
with paint color 2, and we're gonna do the same thing to not the super tiny clusters, but the size up.
With which end, the small end?
Smaller end. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the yellow twirly, smaller end, with paint color 1, and we're gonna go to the very teeny tiny flower clusters, or the yellow, my yellow. And you're not gonna do it on all of them, but you're gonna do the same thing basically. Overlap them all facing towards the middle, like that.
Not all of them.
Yeah, but not all of them. You're gonna leave some just plain.
Not all of them. She said
Okay, next step, we're gonna take the blue twirly, bigger end, with paint color 5. And we're gonna do the same thing to these big green clusters. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly, smaller end, with the same color, and we're gonna do the same thing on the smaller clusters, not the super teeny tiny ones. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the yellow twirly, smaller end, with paint color 1, and we're gonna go to not our super tiny flower clusters, but the ones above that. And we're going to do another overlap facing towards the middle. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the white twirly smaller end with the same color, paint color 1, and we're gonna go up another size, not the super big ones. Yeah, and we're gonna do the same thing, placing the red dots in the middle like that. Okay, next step and the last step.
No way, really?
Yeah,
It doesn't look like it's anything yet.
we're gonna take the pink stick with paint color 1 and put those middle dot, or do the same thing for the big ones.
Big guys.
What size on the pink one? Oh, yes.
And then gonna go on the
The
big.
small end of the pink stick?
Stick, not the twirly.
Stick?